Now, we continue from where we finished. We understood the three types of transactions: cash, credit, and special. Okay, special will come to a little bit detail. Cash and credit. I give the example of the canteen. Now, let me make you understand with the help of some transactions. First transaction: purchase goods of rupees 1000. In the core of your business, you are buying goods of rupees 1000. Look at the second one: purchase goods of rupees 1000 from Mr. A. Now, as you can see, there is a difference between the first and the second transaction, and that is this thing. What is this? Mr. A, name of a person. As I told earlier, if name is mentioned, it is a credit transaction. The first one, no name mentioned, it becomes cash transaction. Another one: purchase goods of rupees 1000 from Mr. A for cash. Now here again, Mr. A name is mentioned, but is of no use. Why it is of no use? For cash. They are clearly mentioned. The transaction is what in nature? Cash transaction. So this also becomes what transaction? Cash transaction. Conclude. If the name of the person is mentioned, it is credit. No name mentioned, it is cash. But name and cash both mentioned, then it becomes what transaction? Cash transaction. Clear? Please remember these things. Come to the fourth one. It's a googly. Paid rent rupees 1000. Let me add to Mr. C, to Mr. D. Now paid rent of rupees 1000 to Mr. C. The moment name appears, the first thing that comes into our mind, credit transaction. But English language comes into play over here, especially the tenses. The first word, paid, is what tense? Past tense. You have already paid the rent. You have already paid the money. Already paid. Now whether you pay to Mr. C, Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. A, doesn't matter to us, because you have done already what? The payment. The name of your expense is rent. So it is what transaction? Cash. Money has already passed from our hand to the other hand. See, the difference between cash and credit transaction is, in cash transaction, the payment is done immediately. The transfer of cash takes place immediately, or it has already taken place. If it is going to take place in the future, then and only then it becomes what transaction? Credit transaction. Received commission of rupees 500 from Mr. D. Now here you have received. Received means already got in your hand, right? Do you have to do anything else for that? No, you have already got the money in your hand. It is 100% what transaction, children? Cash transaction. So once again, if I summarize the first 5 transaction: no name, cash transaction; name given but no moment of no word like received, paid, or for cash mentioned, then again credit transaction. But name and these kind of words mentioned, which indirectly implies that the payment has already taken place. Which implies that payment has already taken place. Means what transaction? Cash transaction. Clear? Right. Now, there are certain transactions which are neither cash nor credit. They are called special transactions. That is, neither you have received cash today nor you are going to receive in your future. Forgive and forget. Right? But then it is a loss for us. It is a economic transaction because it is going to create a loss for us. So therefore we will record it in the books of accounts. Example of that is goods of rupees 1000 stolen away. You know, at night, बरोबर ना, चोर आया, शटर खोला, माल निकाला, भाग गया. तुम्हारे को तो माल का नुकसान नहीं गया. You have got what, beta? Loss over here. Right now, is the thief going to pay you back? No. Today or tomorrow? Never. Right? So what happens? Neither is paying today, neither is going to pay tomorrow. If he pays today cash, if he pays tomorrow credit, both not taking place. So I call it as what transaction? Special. We have to record this also because indirectly it is a loss for us. And you know, this you have already dealt. You know, बचपन में 3rd standard 4th standard में maths मैथमेटिक्स में क्वेश्चन आते थे, यू हैव परचेस्ड 10 bananas, each banana costing 1 rupees, out of which 2 bananas were spoiled, the remaining bananas were sold for 1 rupee 50 पैसा. ना वो जो spoiled banana था जिसको तुम इग्नोर करते थे ना, वो ये रहा, वो भी तुमने खरीदा तो था ना, राइट? वो हमारा नुकसान ही हुआ है, बट यू हैव टू रिकॉर्ड दैट पार्ट that has been stolen away. Similarly, goods of 500 were withdrawn for personal use. You have got your own petrol pump, clear, and you have completed your graduation. Your father gives you a new Mahindra Thar. Le beta, enjoy kar. Right? Now, what is the first thing that you will do? You will fill the petrol, diesel, whatever the make of the vehicle is. You will go to your own pump. You fill the entire vehicle with fuel. Are you going to pay money? No, we don't pay money. Why should we pay money? It is our own business, right? Now, and am I going to buy it from somebody else? No, I'll use my own petrol pump's fuel only. And not only petrol pump, you have got ice cream parlor, right? You want to eat ice cream, you want to give friends a party. Where will you take them? You will take them to your own parlor. Now, in all these cases, what will happen is you will not pay immediately. Neither you will pay after a week or 10 days. So technically what happens again, it is neither cash nor credit. So again I call that as what transaction? Special transaction. Clear, children? Understand the three parts: cash transaction, credit transaction and special transaction. In cash transaction, cash comes or goes immediately. In credit transaction, it will come or go on a later stage. And in special transaction, neither it will come today nor it will come tomorrow, but it is definitely a loss for us, so we record it in the books of accounts as what? Special transaction. Let us try a few more. Purchased machinery of rupees 1 lakh. Again, cash or credit? Cash. Why? Name of the person is not mentioned, so 100% is what transaction? Cash transaction. Purchased furniture of rupees 50,000 from Mr. D. Name mentioned, right? So it becomes what transaction? Credit. Now there's a question in many people's mind. Sir, isn't this also a past tense? Purchase means you bought. It does not indicate that you have paid. Received and paid are the word which clearly indicates that either you have paid the money or you have received the money. Purchased, or if I use the word sold, no, that does not mean the cash transaction has taken place. Now remember one thing, children, accountancy is always recorded in past tense, right? What has happened? Someone has done the transaction in the business, and as an accountant it is your job to record it at a later stage. You don't record before it happens, you record after the event has taken place. After the owner goes and purchases machinery, he gives you the bill, you record in the books of accounts. Clear? Everybody understood this? Cash, credit and special? Right. Now, look at transaction number 1, 8 and 9. Right? Even if you can add entry number 2. Purchase goods of rupees 1,000. Purchase goods of rupees 1,000 from Mr. A. Purchased machinery. Purchased furniture. All the 4 transactions for a layman is same. What is it? You are buying. Fine. You are spending money. Fine. But for you, there is a difference between these 2 transactions. The difference is machinery and furniture are not purchased to sell again. Machinery and furnitures are not purchased to sell again. Why did you buy machinery? To use it to do your day-to-day business activity. Why did you buy furniture? When your customer comes, can come and sit in your office right now and you can have a meeting with him. The furniture and machinery are not purchased with the purpose to sell again. But these goods, definitely, they are purchased with the purpose of what? To sell again in the market. You are buying it for 1,000, tomorrow you will sell it for 1,200 rupees. But here, no. So what is the difference between these 2 things? These we call goods. This we call as our assets. This we call as what? Our assets. Right now, what is the difference? This you are buying with the purpose to sell again. This you are buying with the purpose to be useful for production, manufacturing or any other XYZ activity. Understand the difference between goods and assets. Clear everyone? Goods and assets. Now goods again has got varieties. Purchase goods, sold goods. The goods that you purchase, you didn't like it, you are returning it. Purchase, return of goods, right? The goods that you have sold, the customer doesn't like it, it is broken, he sends it back. Sales, return of goods, right? Here you have withdrawn for personal use. Goods withdrawn for personal use. Goods stolen away. You will always add certain things. You will not use individually the word goods, because goods will have many meanings. So what happens? You associate with one activity that is going with it. Are you buying it? If yes, purchase. You are selling it, sales. If it is returned by your customer, correct na? It is sales return. I sold, he is returning. If I am returning, purchase return. Clear? Fine. Similarly, assets. Assets have got around about 8 to 9 different clarification. But at your level, you need to identify only two things: non-current assets, current assets. Now I gave you two examples of assets. Let me go in detail with assets. Assets, more example. Land, building, plant, machinery, furniture, right? All these are examples of what? Assets. This whiteboard is my asset. The camera through which we are recording this is my asset. Correct? I'm buying it, which helps me in my business. Anything that helps me in my business is my asset. But does that mean that it is going to remain with me lifelong? No. Everything has got its own life. Right? In your house, there will be some furniture which your father might have purchased. But after some time, it becomes obsolete, useless. You sell it and you buy a new one. The best example is your mobiles. You buy a mobile, latest Apple, iPhone 14, 15, I don't know, whatever the range is. I'm not a big iPhone fan. Correct? But if you buy a latest iPhone, are you going to use it for 10 years? No. At the max 4 years, 5 years. After that, what happens? The updates, they stop coming. So after 4 years, 5 years, it becomes obsolete, useless. Throw it, buy a new one. Now that lifespan, it varies from product to product. For example, if you are buying a 4-wheeler, you are buying a new car, the life is 15 years. Right now, you may be able to drive it for even for 20 years, but normally in 15 years, what happens? Its economic life comes to an end. Then what happens? The repairing charges increases. Can we afford that? No. So based on the life of the business, will determine of the asset, will determine whether it is current or non-current. Usually less than 1 year, and this is greater than 1 year. Any asset which remains in the business for less than 1 year, current asset. More than 1 year, a non-current asset. Clear?